The Dragon Quest franchise has been around for some time now, delighting people with its fantastic RPG mechanics and its many enjoyable worlds that have charmed people for many a years. For as amazing and enjoyable the mainline entries are, some of the spin-off games are actually just as good, from the Monster Joker sub-series to the Dynasty Warriors take on the franchise with Heroes 1 and 2. But for me, my favourite spin-off has to be Dragon Quest Builders. Originally released in 2016 for the PS4, Builders is essentially the series' take on the popular Minecraft franchise, and it surprised me how much I really enjoyed the game, as unpopular opinion alert, I'm not that keen on Minecraft. Anyway, the sequel was announced some time ago, but now we've finally got the game in our hands, so it's time for me to review it. Let's see if it was worth the wait. Builders 2 story follows your builder after you chose their gender and the like, and they awake on a ship full of monsters who call themselves the Children of Hargon. And the whole scenario, it seems like your builder is just a prisoner on the ship. Well, that's until the ship capsizes and you're left stranded. You wake up on a mysterious island to find a spiky-haired dude called Malroth, who has lost his memory. But those who have played Dragon Quest II will instantly remember his name for reasons I will not spoil. Anyway, you and Malroth team up to search the game's many lands for survivors, find out more about Malroth's memories, and maybe, just maybe, do a bit of building along the way. The story isn't the greatest, and most of the text, especially during the beginning few hours, are just tutorials in disguise, but like all Dragon Quest games, Builders 2 has such snappy and charming dialogue that you just gotta love it. As for the gameplay, if you played the original, then you've got a pretty good idea on how this plays, as it's pretty much the same, just much more refined, with many new items, mechanics, and a new open world full of areas and secrets to find. When you first start off the game, it does feel a bit slow, as there's a lot of fetch quests and the like that teach you the basics of the game. But once you completed the game's first couple of hours, you then enter the game's first big main area, and thankfully this is where the game really begins. You first find your first settlement, and you gradually build up to a nice little haven with buildings, plants and rivers to make it a nice place to live and get more folks to come and live in your area. You get plenty of missions to help out your little town, and these missions see you travelling the whole area of the land, and exploring is a real true wonder of the game. Exploring every inch of the map and revealing everything is certainly one of the true joys of the game. The aim of the game is to build, and like the original, is still done in the same way. You gain materials which you can use to turn into all manner of items, from weapons, blocks to household items. You can't build items until you come up with the recipe, but unlike the original, you gain recipes much more quickly here. You can build houses for your residents of your settlement, build extra pathways to get to higher and unexplored areas. There's also some farming to be done, as well as gathering seeds and planting them, only to wait a few days to having a crop full of lovely vegetables. When getting missions, it's worth noting that you'll be heading out most of the time to the world around you, picking up various supplies, lost characters, and beating up enemies. Yep, the world isn't empty, as it's chock-a-block full with many different iconic Dragon Quest enemies. From slimes to skeletons to dragons themselves, there's a lot of monsters to dispatch. Combat is a little bit basic, as all you basically do is spam the attack button to do a heavy or light attack, and then move out the way when the enemy is going to attack you. It's fine, and it does help that Malroth is helping you out, but the longer fights can go on a bit, but thankfully you do gain XP for every enemy you defeat, and you get more powerful with each level up. One of the biggest inclusions of the game is multiplayer. Yes, you and up to 3 other players can explore the game's island, hunt monsters and build together. It's incredibly fun to play with other people, whether it's locally or online, and whilst it's a shame you can't play through the story mode with friends, it's still a great inclusion nevertheless. The online stuff doesn't end there, as you can create your own worlds full of whatever you like and then upload them for all to see and play. You can even download and play other people's creations if you want to gain some inspiration for yourself. There'll be one, this world creator is amazing, there is one slight flaw. There's no limit to how much you can build in these worlds, and some worlds do tank the frame rate to alarming levels like 10 or 9 FPS, which is quite shocking. Like the original game, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a rather lengthy game with a story mode that could easily last you a good 30 plus hours, but it will no doubt take you much longer than that because you'll be stuck in the constant addictive loop of building, exploring, and the multiplayer will also keep you occupied for many hours. Presentation wise, Builders looks fantastic on whatever console you're playing on. I was playing on the Switch and it looked pretty much near identical to the PS4 version. Textures are great and the character models look very detailed. As for the frame rate, on the PS4 we see in 60 FPS for the main game, but once you get into the pre-made levels the frame rate can drop to as low as 20, which is due to the stress on the game's engine. As for the Switch version, the frame rate here is halved at 30 FPS, and again like the PS4 version, it sticks to its slot frame rate, only for it to tank in those user-created levels, which are even worse, dropping to what looks to be a slideshow. Conclusion time now, and Dragon Quest Builders 2 is an utter joy. If you pardon the pun, the game builds upon its solid formula set by the original to deliver a much better experience, with many deeper mechanics, better story, and a fun open world full of discoveries to find. Add in the fact of online multiplayer and the ability to create and visit other worlds, and this could easily be a rather addicting and time-consuming game. The odd performance issue on both consoles aside, this is a mighty fine addition to either console's library, so that's why I'm giving Dragon Quest Builders 2 a 9 out of 10 with the title of brilliant. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming, bye!